Tyler. Good morning. How are you doing? How's your Thursday going? I hope it's going really well. I know I've been missing in action, and I feel particularly awful that I'm making it a commonplace to be like 1 week on, 1 week as an individual. It's been a really tough period for me, and I think in a lot of lights I had lost motivation for quite a lot of things. I have, just to find the right content, to find the right and I remember last week I geared up, to prepare for this whole that was rather last week's episode and all. I was, gingered, everything. My spirit was up, my mind was just, so, pumped up. And quite a lot of things just went southward for me. Very, very difficult period. Sadly, I'm not out of it. I'm not out of the situation. But I've realized that, thinking about the challenges, thinking about the whole circumstances doesn't make it better. It robs you of joy, it robs you of energy. And yeah, I know I've shared a lot about it with you. So, it's one thing to talk, it's one thing to live the things that you speak. So I just decided that now, irrespective of what I'm going through, irrespective of the things that are bothering me at the moment, I will continue to be faithful to my promises, right? And, trust God for a way out. He will definitely make a way out. Sometimes, whether if it's because of people's actions, events beyond our control, or acts of our ignorance and poor decision making, whatever it is, irrespective of how the issue came to be, God is always faithful. He understands our frailties as human beings. He understands that a lot of times we make emotional decisions, though He doesn't want us to, but He knows that, we make emotional decisions. So He's fully aware of it, and I know God will pull me out of it and also pull us out of whatever challenge it will be. So I'm actually doing this episode in the car. The comments I got from the Diary of a Wannabe Chef, the story of a wannabe chef, I think it was so hilarious. A lot of you reached out to me and you were like, you can't wait to taste my cooking. Now let me tell you something. I'm not a bad cook. You understand? This issue of being a bad cook or a good cook, it's purely relative. It's purely relative. What's the standard of good? What's the standard of bad? One of the things I know that I can do, as in, I will cook food for you that you would eat. It may not be called a delicacy, but it would neither be dangerous. Do you understand, right? You won't die from it. You're not going to get any stomach or food poisoning, stomach upset and all of that. Nah, you're not going to. But I cook. I'm not very good with soups. The only soup I've ever tried making, and I think I've made it multiple times, is vegetable soup. And I think that's a very big word, or not really big word, but it's not very clear. So the Hausa say Aleo. I think the rest of the world says Eforiro. But that's one I've made, usually with a lot of pepper. Pepper is kind of like our way out of of managing our spices, how we've whether if we measured our spices or not. So, but I'm grateful and I'm glad that it, irrespective of you know, the whole you know, funny parts, you know, the whole comical part of it, that a message is, you know, passed across. And for me, that was the most important thing. I've had funny experiences in life, and I'm actually, I don't know if I've said this, but I'll say it again if I have. I'm actually recording this episode in my car. I'm about to enter work. So, but anyway, and I was just thinking, and I was like, okay, so what will I talk about today? And I was like, why not, you know, talk about embarrassing moments? Yeah, why not talk about embarrassing moments and how we've overcome them, and all embarrassing moments. So the first that I'm going to start with, I think a lot of them are going to be guy lady inclined. I think those are like some of my my most embarrassing moments and all. So I'll start with this one. So secondary school, I had this crush. I'm not even sure I can remember her name again. You see, that's how crushes are. I'm not sure I could remember her name again, but I'm really trying to remember her name. I could see her face, everything, but so, you know, all of this you know, these secondary school crushes, and also in my school, Bethel Christian Academy, were very small. We're never more than 360 students in the school, so everybody knew everybody. Like literally, you won't say that if you mention one person's name, everybody knows the person. So there was never a time that we were more than 360. So there was this lady I liked. I think she was a year my junior or 2 years. I think a year my junior. And every time, like in the dining hall, I would, you know, just be looking at her when she's walking past. I'll just be like, oh my God. Do you understand? When I see her, I'll smile, my shy smile. Yeah, bingo. And I remember, you know, I'm this kind of person that I could sit down and fantasize. I literally fantasized our wedding, our marriage, how everybody would just be excited, how I have children, have fun, smiling. But she was a cool lady, you know. Anyway, so usually every Fridays we have what we call general cleaning, and we're meant to kind of like they share different duties to the students. So some will clean the corridors, some will clean the classes, some will cut grass, depending on how it was structured and all. Right, so I had done my work, and in the middle, so it's basically around the school block, and the school block was kind of like a semicircle. And then in the middle of the school, there was like a courtyard with like a little, let's just call it roundabout. And so I picked up a piece of paper, rolled it up, and I was, you know, just kicking it like a football, you know, doing juggling stuff and all. And back then when I used to play football, I was strictly a right-footed player. Now something just told me like, hey, Binga, let's try using our left leg to kick this thing. And immediately I kicked the ball, or kicked the piece of paper, and I missed, and I spun around in the air, and I fell down like on my back, flat. And guess who was standing and looking at me? My crush. She looked at me. The shame, the more shame that came upon me, it was like, oh my God. She just looked, she just smiled, and then she just passed with her friend. And you know, that's how the crush died though. Didn't crush her again. Shame took away the crush. Shame took away the crush from me. I felt embarrassed all my life, and I think there was this other lady I once liked, and I'd never toasted a lady before. I didn't know how they used to do it. In fact, my very, very first crush in school was my classmate and all. She's married, so I think I won't have to be scared in saying this. Her name is Bumi. Bumi was my very first crush. I was like, oh my god. So I didn't know how to talk to people. I'm very sure I had like a serious complex issue while growing up. I never thought I was, fine or goodly to look upon and all of that. I never thought that. So I like I said, every morning we still have duties, you have attachments and all. So I think they switched my duties with Bumi, and then I was meant to sweep one of the senior classes. So I've never been able to reach Bumi. Just for one day. Bumi said, Pinga, are you Pinga? She said, I was like, yes. I was like, finally, my crush. I really thought that maybe she was going to like come and talk to you and tell me that, you're a fine guy. I like you too. All the funny thoughts, fantasies in my head. She now said that, sorry, please, do you want to sing in the senior class? Actually, she was calling me for punishment because I didn't do the work. I went and did the work somewhere else, and so my first encounter with my crush Bumi was her ushering me to be punished. Alas, the crush died. And then another instance in school, I went to okay, so I wanted to try out on the whole fashion thing. So we had our variety nights, and it was time for like the fashion show. And one of the cool things about my school is that back then it was part of the things that they did really. They'll just give you the material from school. I mean the material for our house wear, compound wear, and you were allowed to sew any style that you wanted. So I remember there was this particular style that I had that people really did like, and they were like, okay, I should come and model it. Then so I was attached to one lady. Her name is Nese, very fine lady. She too long time, fine lady. Let's just leave it like that. Nese, fine, beautiful. But so we were meant to like practice together. So we're practicing doing stuff together. It was all pretty cool. Then one guy came up and started talking, giving the whole props and all for the runway. And as I was walking with Nisi, he was like, here comes the beautiful Nisi. Now this was like public. Here comes the beautiful Nisi with the not so fine Binga. Hell, my God. I couldn't just imagine. I walked with so much. I really didn't want to do the whole stuff again, really. But I went and I spoke to one of my teachers, Miss Joy Minor. She's now a lecturer in ABU. And I told her, like, I don't want to do it. She was like, nope, you're going to do it. And I don't care, we're already prepared. And it was going to be like the next day, but I really felt awful. In my mind, I was like, I know I'm not fine now, but you don't have to kind of like announce it and make it so obvious. Now people would start looking at me. They'll be deliberate to check and all. And I think that particularly affected me in a major way, because from then I really hated pictures. Anything that would make me take a picture of myself and all, I really just didn't like it, because it just brought back all of those memories. It was a very, very horrible, very, very horrible period. Very horrible period. So yeah, so they said that, but eventually I still did the whole still climbed the runway that day, and Momsy bought me this Fubu shoe. It was sky blue with dark shades of blue. It was really, really cool, and so I wore it. I carried my white shirt. Then there's this trend, there's this blue. I used to make like white clothes, China white used to make really cool. So I blued my shirt. I blued my shirt, and then I kind of like left the buttons open. And I had my hair cut. Came out looking pang. And as I just stepped on the runway, I was just confident, just taking my steps. As I just came out, people were just screaming, "Whoa! Binka fine boy things." And like Miss Germana just saw this, she was like, "Oh my God, the shoes!" They were just hailing me. Yeah, and I'm sure it's because Nisi too was there and all, but they were just hailing me, just talking, and everybody after the whole stuff, they were like, "Oh my God, Binga, your shoes, I love your design, you're looking so cool. Did you see your white shirt? It was so blue." And it was, the irony, your white shirt was so blue, but it was a nice feeling. It was a really, really nice feeling. What other embarrassing moments have I had? Usually when I do this, I usually try to write them down, but I'm just being all spontaneous here. What other embarrassing moments have I had? Yes, so I was part of the choir, from as long as I can remember. I was part of the choir. Now, I had, become an instrumentalist musician, playing the keyboard, doing a whole lot of things, and I had joined the bad gang, the stubborn people. So one of the times I actually wanted to, sing, and they said, "Okay, Binga, come, let's sing." And being a senior student, one of the things that we did is that the senior students who have had, the experience of leading songs would be attached to the younger ones. So that's how I was also taught. When I got into BCA then, we had great people that were part of choir. Ruby Ann Gang, she's now a great musician, awesome musician here in Nigeria. And then another lady, Christine Ben Ame, she's now in the UK. And also Jennifer Tokula now, she was then Jennifer Icho, married to Reverend Ahmed Tokula. They're together in Boko. But I noticed that that's how they train people, kind of like attached to the younger ones to go on. So we kept it as a tradition and all. So it was my turn, and we rehearsed the song. It was beautiful. And I think the mistake we made was that we gave the new person to start up the song, and I was meant to sing the next verse after her. And so we started the intro. Omo Auntie just sang on another key. Auntie sang on another key. I was thinking, I was looking, trying to figure out how to find the key. The whole key just messed up. I went back. Okay, so when we couldn't find the key, I instrumentalist just went to her own key, which was too high for me, which was too high for the other guy that he sang low, which was awkward for the other lady that she couldn't do. Then the choir now forgot their parts. And instantly, after the administration, I caught malaria. Instantly, I caught malaria. And that was the last time I actually sang with the choir. I was so upset. I was so upset. It was a very wrong move by me, but I was so upset. And then it was really bad. No, it was a very embarrassing situation, right? Now, finally, please don't mind what this man is saying. All right, so I'd always wanted to be a bad boy. Do you understand? I'd always wanted to be a bad boy. I found out that the ladies liked the bad boys. They gained so much attention. There was so much. So there's this very awkward thing that's happening. Two people are having a conversation, right? They were close to each other. They didn't finish their conversation. They now went to a distance and started shouting at each other like, it's well. So back to the whole story. I've always wanted to be a bad boy. I had always wanted to be a bad boy, being that clique. And I didn't know that it was almost like an intrinsic thing, in the sense like you don't just choose to be bad. It's so in my JS1, I joined this clique of people. They were like the top guys in the class, the big boys, as we would call them now, the alpha males. And we, our girls, they came up with this very funny clique, and it's called Spicy 7. I think I can remember the members, but I won't call them. They know themselves. Spicy 7. I know I came into a discussion with the guys about Spicy 7, blah, 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 all of that. And I couldn't, I didn't even know we were about to take out an operation on them. They were angry with Spicy 7. I didn't know why, but they were going to do something to hurt the ladies. And I said, let me join. Okay, good. So in my school, we're not allowed to keep contraband items. So contraband items were like snacks and all of these things. Whenever we bought snacks, there was like a defined portion of snacks that we're meant to bring, and they shared it all together. Shared it to everybody at the same time. We just had a visiting day, and so we found out that they kept a lot of snacks in their lockers. So I went for the operation. We broke into Spicy 7's lockers, and we took their snacks and all, and we ate. And they found out. They didn't find out the people, and they were like, the people that did this Spicy 7 is no longer working, blah, blah, blah. They're really upset. And I started feeling bad. And I, if I can remember, a few weeks later, I just went and confessed that I was among the people. I didn't mention the guys, but I was just among the people. Like, I didn't know how to be bad. Like, I did it with so much guilt in me. I went to confess and be like, okay, I'm the one that did it. I don't know if that's qualified for an embarrassing situation, but then, it's just terrible. I remember, there are just so many things. There are just so many things that I could consider embarrassing. Probably next week I'll talk about the most embarrassing one that I've ever had. But the reason why I'm sharing all of this is that, events in our lives have a way of defining us. Really. There are certain things that must have happened that would either spur you or motivate you to do certain things, or in retrospect, it could cause you to become timid and never open to certain possibilities, certain truths and all. Now, with all of the embarrassing situations that I had, the runway situation where people didn't really like me, they openly said I wasn't attractive, with the embarrassment I had with the lady that I was crushing on, falling to the ground. Sadly, events like this have a way of being strongholds in our minds. Have a great way of being strongholds in our mind. And we have to get to the point where we don't allow those events define us. Whether they are good or whether they are bad, they don't define us. Do you get? And when I say the good part is that it keeps us humble. Do you understand that? Yes, people may celebrate me and praise me for some certain things. Yes, I am good at what I do, right? But then it doesn't mean I'm the best at what I do. You get? It just keeps our heads level, because a lot of pride has come from certain events, and funnily, the guy that told me I wasn't fine, he himself wasn't a fine guy. Do you understand? So I think it was a very mutual flow. He wasn't fine, but because he was a bad boy and he came from a wealthy background, there's just a way that it projects on them, and at least he built his own confidence. But last, Baba wasn't a fine guy. You get? But what I'm saying is, we have to get to the point where these events do not define us. They do not define us. It doesn't stop you from trying to do those things that once embarrassed you. You might have failed, you might have messed up, you might have gotten certain things wrong, but then it doesn't mean you should give up on yourself, right? You don't carry those things and then make them your own stronghold, where they wreck your mind and then you can't even think again, you can't even make progress, or you are afraid to try those things again. So imagine if because of all of those embarrassing situations, I never tried to do certain things. You get? Imagine if I walked out of trying to walk on the runway that day. I would have never really understood what it means for people to really celebrate you. I would have never really known that, no, Binga, you do have a certain level of style if you do certain things well. I would have never known my potential if I never, after singing with a lady and I said I was never going to sing again, then imagine the amount of songs I would have stopped writing, the amount of people that would have been blessed. The amount of people that have been blessed with my songs, and the fact that now they will never be able to hear it because I said I was not going to sing again. Do you understand? And then imagine the lady that I would eventually love. Imagine, I know she's somewhere, but imagine if I said that I'm not going to try my luck out. Anyway, that's my own luck shot, this kind. If I like, let me not find her. You get? But then there is something in me that she deserves, and I could probably rob her off of it. There is a beauty from her that I'm going to receive that I would never get if I don't reach out to her. Do you understand? All of those kind of things. So don't allow embarrassing situations, right? Don't allow embarrassing situations get to you that you are not able to move on in life. Don't allow that, Tyler. Don't allow that, Tyler. Pick up the pieces where you messed up, where you got it all wrong. Pick up the pieces, make amends, and move on. It is very, 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 very important, right? Pick up the pieces, make amends, and then move on. Right? Move on. Re-strategize, be better. Everybody has had an embarrassing time. You get? We all have our struggles. So it's not peculiar to you, right? So, but whatever it is, Tyler, right? Whatever it is, Tyler, that might have been a past occurrence, a past experience that has kept you locked up in a certain position, this is the time for you to wake up and be like, nah, I'm going to live above this, right? I'm not going to allow these things define me, right? So I hope you had fun with this podcast. I hope you're able to laugh at some instances and, pick up the lessons. I'll try and put up some captions for you guys again. But it was so nice reaching out to you, and I'm just asking you, please remember me in your prayers. God will just help me through whatever it is. But I'm here to give my best at all times. I'm here to give my best at all times, right? So this is me saying that I love you and I am rooting for you big time, right? Yes, and please do share this podcast with people, with others. I'm sure it would be a major, major blessing, right? So thank you, Tyler. Do take care. Bye.